I thought I was done with survival. 12 years ago, I clawed my way out of a war-torn slum on the edge of nowhere. Fought, bled, and buried good men in dirt no one bothered naming. Now, I fix pipes in the city. Apartment 9D. A window with a decent view. Normal life finally. That was until 2:44 a.m. last night. My phone buzzed twice. First from the emergency alert system. The second from a number I didn't recognize. Emergency alert. National security notice. Unidentified entities detected in residential zones. Remain indoors. Do not engage. They are watching, but not attacking. Do not make eye contact. Do not respond to sounds outside. Do not investigate. Then came the text. No name. Just, you've seen them before. You just didn't recognize them. I stepped back from my window, heart thudding like a war drum. Fog had rolled in thick, low, too silent. But it wasn't the fog that unnerved me. It was the shape standing on the sidewalk. Still, unmoving, facing my building. It looked like a man in a long coat. But even from 8 floors up, something was wrong with how it stood. Too straight, too balanced, like it didn't breathe. I turned off the lights, pulled the curtain. The city was supposed to be safe. By morning, every street corner had one. Some tall, some short. Men, women, children, all perfectly still, staring at homes, offices, subways, but never moving, never speaking. People panicked at first. Barricades, police drones, curfews, then nothing. The creatures didn't move, didn't blink, didn't leave. So eventually, people adjusted. That's how humans work, right? Survive, then forget. But not me. I know watchers when I see them. On the 3rd day, I noticed one was following me. Not directly, never openly. But every time I looked out a window or past a reflective surface, I saw him. Same coat, same pale, featureless face. No eyes, no mouth, no real skin. But it wore humanity like a mask, like a costume. I'm not paranoid. I was trained to track hunters. And something out there is watching, learning, waiting. Day 5. It was on my floor. Not outside. Inside. Standing in the hallway like it belonged here. Neighbors walked past like it didn't exist. But when I stared, really stared, it turned its head just slightly. Like it knew I could see it for what it was. I didn't move. Neither did it. My survival instincts, the ones I buried when I left the trenches, they flared alive like a damn signal fire. I slept with a wrench under my pillow that night, just like old times. The next alert came at 3:17 a.m. Emergency update. Do not attempt to communicate with the entities. If you believe one is inside your home, remain still. They do not kill those who obey. My blood ran cold, not because of the words, but because my front door creaked open slowly by itself. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The thing stepped in. His footsteps made no sound, but I felt the weight of its presence like a scream buried in silence. It stood by my bed, watching, not attacking. I saw its head tilt, studying me, like I was a bug under glass. And then, it whispered in a voice that sounded like my own. You're not from here either, are you? I don't sleep anymore. I don't open the door. And I sure as hell don't look out the window, because I think they're not waiting to attack us. They're waiting for us to remember who we are. And maybe I already have. It's been 2 days since the thing whispered in my voice. I haven't left my apartment. My fridge is nearly empty. I've pissed in a bucket twice. My phone buzzed once, battery low, but I'm not plugging it in. Not after what happened when I turned on the TV. Every channel showed static. Not white noise, this was black, like staring into a void, with faint shapes pulsing underneath. Almost like something alive was crawling just behind the screen. Then a voice spoke. We remember you. You crawled away from us once. You won't again. That's when I threw the TV off the balcony. And I know it saw me do it. The one in the coat. It stood across the street, unmoving like always. But after the TV hit the pavement, it raised its hand and slowly waved. Not at me, at something behind me. I'm starting to hear sounds in the walls now. Not rats, not pipes, footsteps, slow, careful, and breathing, heavy, too close, like someone's head is pressed against the drywall, listening. I pressed my ear to the heater vent and heard a whisper, not in English, a rasping, fluid tongue like something trying to copy speech after swallowing something it shouldn't have. But then it said something I did understand. You wore the skin before. We helped you forget. My hands have started shaking again, the same way they did after my third kill back in the Dirtlands. When I looked at myself in the mirror and realized I hadn't felt anything. That's what this feels like now. Like something's reaching inside and reminding me of things I've buried. At 2:01 a.m., the front door unlocked by itself again. This time it didn't open, just clicked. I didn't breathe, didn't move, but I saw the shadow beneath it, a human shape, and behind it, longer shadows, bigger than human, crawling shapes with too many limbs and not enough bones. Then something scraped across the door like a long nail or claw, not banging, not trying to get in, just reminding me, we're still here. I finally cracked. I grabbed my old combat boots, the ones still stained with blood from the evacuation riots. I loaded the one gun I swore I'd never touch again. I looked in the mirror just once, and my reflection didn't move right. It lagged, by half a second, like it was deciding if it should keep pretending to be me. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm gonna find out what these things want. I'm gonna make one of them talk. Because something is deeply wrong with this city, with the silence. The way people walk past the creatures without noticing. The way no one screams anymore. It's like the whole city has agreed to not look. But I'm done hiding, because now I remember something. Back in the war, when the fog came and half our unit vanished, we never saw what took them. Just shadows. And those same words, scrawled in blood on a wall. They watch. They learn. They wait. Don't blink. Tonight I won't blink. And if they're still watching, then I hope they're ready to be seen. I thought stepping outside would bring clarity. All it brought was emptiness. No traffic, no people, just parked cars and windows full of terrified eyes. Most won't leave their homes. Can't blame them, because now the creatures aren't hiding. They're on every block, some on rooftops, some standing in the middle of intersections like statues. They don't move, they don't speak, they just watch. And now, they're watching everyone. I walked 5 blocks with my wrench in one hand and a small GoPro clipped to my chest. I don't even know who I'm recording this for anymore. Maybe someone after this all ends. If it ends. Outside the pharmacy on 8th and Dale, I saw 3 of them. Pale suits, hollow faces. One turned its head slightly as a woman across the street tried to run. She didn't get far. The creature didn't chase her. Didn't even raise a hand. But the second she made it past the alley, she just vanished, like someone snatched her out of existence. One frame she was there, the next gone. I replayed the footage 4 times on my phone. No sound, no flash, no beam, just air where a human used to be. At 1 p.m., new alert, emergency update, disappearance protocol in effect. The entities are selective. Avoid drawing attention. Do not run. Do not scream. If a neighbor is taken, do not intervene. What the hell kind of advice is that? Don't intervene? Is that our plan now? Let them thin the herd? I'm not a hero, but I'm not watching this place turn into a silent graveyard either. I made it to the police station on 12th. Front windows smashed. Doors open. No bodies. No blood. Just weapons on the floor like they were dropped mid-step. And one of the creatures standing behind the front desk. It didn't move, didn't react, but on the wall behind it was something new. A phrase etched into the paint, burned in like acid. The watchers are not the first. They're cleaning up. I left, fast but not too fast, because now I get it. They're not hunting, they're filtering. People who scream, panic, run, they disappear. People who obey, still here, for now. That's why they're not attacking. Because we're doing it to ourselves. Turning on each other. Isolating. Starving. Losing our minds one scream at a time. As I walked home, I passed a man on the curb rocking back and forth. muttering to himself. There were 3 creatures standing around him in a loose triangle, just watching. He kept repeating the same thing over and over. We're being archived. They're sorting the memories. They don't want the body, just the moment. I don't know what that means, but I think they're learning more than just how we move. I think they're studying what we feel. And maybe soon, they'll decide who's useful and who's not. I haven't slept in over 30 hours. It's not fear that keeps me up. It's something worse, curiosity. The watchers are everywhere now. You can walk past them on the street. They're in grocery stores, sitting in empty classrooms, in bus seats, staring out windows, always in pairs or small groups like they're comparing notes on us. Still not attacking, but more people are disappearing. Quietly, subtly. A guy sneezes too loud in a diner and is gone by the next frame. No flash, no sound, just a stillness, then nothing. And every time someone vanishes, one of the watchers shifts slightly, like they're filing the moment away, like they've learned something. I decided to stop avoiding them. I needed answers. I needed to see what happens when you break the rules and survive it. So today I walked straight up to one. Corner of Ash and 14th. Noon. It looked male. Wearing jeans. No shoes. Face like wax under a heat lamp. Its head turned as I approached, slow and precise like a machine compensating for gravity. I didn't say anything, just stared. His face twitched. Then it spoke, but not with its mouth. With mine. Curious. You're still unarchived. The voice was my voice. Same pitch. Same rhythm. The way I breathed between words. I asked what that meant. It didn't answer. Instead, it leaned close, inches from my face, and whispered, "You're not in the file yet. That makes you noise." Then it turned and walked away, slowly, unbothered, like I no longer mattered. But as it left, it dropped something. Piece of skin, human, still warm, with a scar on it I recognized. It was mine. Back when I was 16, I got knifed in a bar fight. That scar ran from my shoulder to my ribs. The thing had been wearing a piece of my past. I took the skin to the old maintenance shed in my building and burned it. The smell was like melting plastic and blood. And underneath it, something shimmered in the ashes. Thin black threads, like nerve endings, still twitching. I didn't sleep again. Around 3 a.m., the city went dark. Power cut. Phones dead. Cars stopped mid-drive. Just silence and a low hum, like the air itself was vibrating. Then the sky lit up, not from above, but from beneath. A bright pulse flickered up through the sewer grates. Something's waking up down there. Something older. Maybe something in control of the watchers. The latest emergency alert buzzed once on my backup generator monitor. Just a single message this time. Emergency update. Do not go underground. If you see yourself, run. It is not you. I think I know where I'm going next. If the watchers are mimicking us, wearing our memories, then whatever's underground, it's where they store the original. And maybe that's where everyone who vanished is being kept. Or worse, rewritten. The warning said, do not go underground. So of course I went. It wasn't bravery. It was a feeling. Like if I waited any longer, I'd wake up without a name, without a face. Just another one of them. Whatever these things are, they're not killing us. They're replacing us. I took the maintenance hatch on 9th and Walton. It's rusted shut most of the time, but my old city job gave me access codes they probably forgot still worked. I brought a flashlight, a knife, and one bullet. Not for them. For me, if I saw what I think I might. The tunnels beneath the city were wrong. Not just dark, silent. Like even the rats were gone. Like the world was holding its breath. Then I found the first body, or what was left of one. It was folded in half backward, perfectly clean, no blood, bones like glass, snapped and arranged in a spiral pattern on the wall, almost like art. Next to it, carved into concrete, were the words, "Echoes don't sleep." The deeper I went, the less the place felt human. Concrete turned to a smooth black stone, veined with pulsing veins of light. like something alive had burrowed through the city and left behind a nervous system. Then the tunnels opened up. A wide circular chamber, at least 3 stories deep, and hanging from the ceiling like bats were dozens of human shapes. Still, floating, their mouths hung open, mid-scream, eyes rolled back, limbs limp, but they weren't dead. I could see twitches, jerks, small reflexes like dreamers caught in nightmares. Each one was connected to a black root-like cable, buried in their spines. They were being downloaded, copied, erased, stored. That's when I saw her, Madeline Vega, my neighbor from 9D, disappeared 2 days ago after knocking too hard on a window. She was floating, connected, but her body wasn't decaying. It looked newer, younger. Then something stepped out from behind her. Another Madeline. Same face, same pajamas, but smoother, cleaner, like someone had re-rendered her from memory with fewer flaws. The copy turned its head, saw me, and smiled. Then it whispered, "You've seen enough." The scream came from behind me. I turned just in time to see a figure leap out of the wall, not walk. Leap like a glitch skipping a frame. It wore my face, but its eyes were pure black, stretching wider than they should. No whites, just pits. It rushed me. I didn't run. I stabbed first. When the blade went in, it didn't bleed. A split, like cutting into a sack of data. Strings of light unraveled out of it like exposed film. Images of me. Childhood. War. Fights. Regrets. Every moment of my life flashing across its surface like corrupted footage. It was made of me. I ran. Didn't stop until I was coughing up blood on the surface, covered in some kind of black paste. That's when the sky turned red. No sirens. No warnings. Just a deep vibration, like a mountain exhaling. And then the final alert blinked on every dark screen in the city. One sentence in red. "You are no longer original. I think they're almost done copying us. And when they are, we won't even know who's real anymore." By morning, the city had changed. Not in shape, not in sound. In behavior, people walked slower, talked less, kept their eyes down. It wasn't fear, it was something deeper. Like they were all second-guessing if they even belonged in their own skin. Because the alert didn't vanish this time. It stayed. Burned into every phone, every billboard, every dark monitor. "You are no longer original." I went to the corner store near my old route. Used to be run by a guy named Rafi, retired Marine. We used to swap war stories over burnt coffee. He was always loud, always real. But today, he just stood there, silent, facing the soda fridge. His lips moved, but nothing came out. I stepped close. That's when I saw the real Rafi under the counter, curled up, mouth taped shut, eyes wide open, staring at himself standing by the fridge. It's happening everywhere now. People are finding versions of themselves. Perfect ones. Copies that move like mannequins at first but learn quickly. Talk smoother. Breathe at the right times. Blink naturally. But there's always something just a little off. Like watching yourself in a dream. I passed a woman on the street screaming at her husband. "That's not you. That's not." He doesn't snore. He doesn't limp. The man didn't respond. Just smiled. And behind him, at the end of the block, for watchers stood, arms crossed, waiting. When she ran, she vanished. Some are still pretending nothing's wrong. Others are barricading in groups, turning on neighbors, accusing strangers of being theirs. There's no trust anymore. No truth. Just doubt. And that's what they wanted, isn't it? To make us question everything. Even ourselves. I tried recording everything. I uploaded files, wrote notes, left video logs in hidden drives. But each time I checked them later, they're different. In one, my voice is calmer than I remember. In another, I blink at the wrong times. In one, I'm wearing a shirt I don't even own. They're editing me. In real time. Tonight I saw a child dragging a body bag down 5th Street. When I got closer, I realized the child wasn't breathing. And the bag? It had a child in it. Same clothes. Same face. Just older. Used. This isn't an invasion. It's a transition. They aren't killing us. They're replacing us in increments, replacing anger with patience, violence with neutrality, emotion with silence, until nothing chaotic remains, until nothing human remains. I'm writing this from an abandoned basement with mirrors covering every wall. It's the only way I know I'm still me, because when I look in the mirror I hesitate, but I still recognize the man looking back. He's not perfect, he's not smooth, he's scarred, and that's how I know I'm not one of them. Not yet. They say the end comes with fire or flood. Ours came with silence. No alarms, no gunshots, just a city that stopped knowing who it was. People are tearing each other apart. Not with weapons, but with accusations. You flinch too fast. You never smiled that way before. You didn't used to say my name like that. And no one can prove anything, because the copies are too good now. I saw it happen firsthand yesterday. A man tackled his brother during a supply run, convinced he was one of them, screaming about how he remembered a scar that wasn't there. When the brother shouted back the same childhood memories, he hesitated. That pause was all the watchers needed. They took them both. Neither screamed. The government's gone. What's left is a scrambled loop of auto-voiced alerts. Remain calm. Do not question your identity. They cannot replace you if you know who you are. But even that voice has started to glitch. It repeats the word you differently each time. Sometimes it sounds like me. I found a group hiding in an old church. They've set up mirrors, constant identity checks, call and response codes. The leader, a woman named Sasha, used to be a forensic linguist. She says she can tell who's real by how you pronounce vowels. I don't know if she's right, but they've lasted longer than most. Still, 2 of their people disappeared last night. Their mirrors cracked on their own. No one heard a thing. But Sasha told me something else. Something that chilled me more than anything I've seen yet. She met one of the copies who admitted it didn't know it was a copy. Not until it found its original. Rotting beneath a city drain, bones hollowed and memory extracted like pulp. And even then, the copy looked at the corpse and whispered, "Why do I remember dying?" That means some of them think they're us. Some of them are living lives they didn't steal, they just inherited them. How do you fight something that believes it's real? How do you kill something that feels like you? Tonight, I went back to my apartment for the last time. I stood in front of the mirror, waited, watched, then I said my name out loud. And from behind me, my voice echoed, "That's not your name anymore." I didn't turn around. If I did, it would know I was scared. And fear is how they get in. Outside, the streets are glowing faintly now. That black stone underground? It's spreading, cracking through sidewalks, replacing asphalt. The watchers don't hide anymore. They walk with us, work beside us. The city hasn't fallen. It's just forgotten who it used to be. I haven't. Not yet. But I feel it. In my dreams. In the way I forget small details. In how my reflection sometimes blinks after me. I'm running out of time. But I'll keep writing. As long as I remember my own handwriting. I know I'm still me. They've taken the highways. All of them. The last car I saw was on fire, drifting sideways into a median like its driver had vanished mid-turn. I walked past it, holding my breath, as one of the copies stepped out from the woods wearing a firefighter's uniform. It didn't help anyone. It just stood there, staring at the wreckage like it was trying to feel something. The city's in freefall now. People don't run anymore, don't scream. Most just go quiet. Not because they've given up, because they're afraid to react. They've seen it enough now. How emotion draws attention. You cry, you vanish. You panic, you vanish. You ask too many questions, you're answered by something with your own face. I passed through a refugee zone at an abandoned college campus. Makeshift walls, steel doors, spot checks at every checkpoint. They had scanners that read heart rates and blink patterns. One guy blinked wrong, they dragged him away. I tried to stop them. Sasha, from the church group, pulled me aside and whispered, "They're not testing for copies. They're testing for doubt." And that's when I realized, the watchers don't have to kill us. We're doing it for them. That night, I found an old broadcast tower, the kind they used for emergency weather warnings back before satellites took over. Still had backup power. Still had an open frequency. I climbed up and flipped the switch, and I spoke into the mic for the first time in days. If you're hearing this, stay imperfect. Keep the pain. Keep the guilt. Keep the scars. They can only copy what's clean. The sky lit up red an hour later. A warning or maybe a response. And that same sentence reappeared on every screen. You are no longer original. Only now it was joined by a second line. But you can still remember. I don't know what that means, but I think we have one chance left. Not to win. Not to destroy them, but to stay human. Even if it kills us. I'm heading toward the northern hills now. Rumors say there's a town untouched by them. Place with no watchers. No copies. A blackout zone they can't infiltrate. I don't know if it's real, but if it is, I'll reach it, or I'll die walking like myself. Took me 3 days to reach the hills. 3 days without roads, without sleep. Just dirt trails and sky that kept flickering red at night like a dying signal. I passed entire neighborhoods frozen in place, like time had stopped and taken the people with it. Tables still set. Televisions still playing black silence. Children's drawings taped to windows with no hands left to finish them. But there were no watchers out here. None. Which terrified me more. I found the town around dusk. Nestled between two dead mountains, choked in pines. One road in. No signs. Just a white wooden post with faded black lettering. Welcome to Marrow Creek. Population? Yeah, that's what it actually said. Question marks. Not clever graffiti. Painted. Permanent. The first thing I noticed? No shadows. Not one. Not from me. Not from the trees. Not from the people. Because there were people. Or at least, there were faces behind curtains. Pale eyes watching me as I stepped into the town square. Not hostile. Just waiting. Like I was a delivery. A man finally came out to greet me. Mid-50s. Dusty suit. Calm voice. He introduced himself as Mayor Elijah Kern. No handshake. Just a nod. I asked him point blank, "Are they here?" He didn't flinch. "No," he said. "Not anymore." The town, he explained, removed itself. Cut itself off from networks, satellites, even memory caches. No digital footprints. No mirrors. No reflections. No identity. Because the watchers don't need to arrive to replace you. They just need enough data. Enough pattern. But here, there's nothing left to copy. Everyone wears the same clothes. No names. No emotion. No past. Safe, Elijah says. But it's not living. It's erasure in slow motion. I was given a bed. Told to rest. Eat. Forget. But I'm not like them. I still remember what it was like to be a person. I still know my own name. The scars on my body. The weight of my choices. And when I looked around, I realized no one here had scars. Not one. That night I wandered. Found a chapel with a broken floorboard. Underneath was a trapdoor. Inside, a room of photographs. Hundreds. All of the same people in the town. But in every picture they were smiling. Holding babies. Kissing. Crying. Living. Before they became blank. They erased themselves to survive. They survived by becoming what the watchers wanted from the beginning. Empty copies. Voluntary replacements. I ran. Back into the forest. Back under the sky. Because I'd rather die as myself than breathe as a shadow. And now I know something worse than being replaced. Is choosing to forget you were ever real. I don't know where I'm going next. But if there's anyone still listening, still remembering, find me. We're not gone yet. And if we remember together, we might still have time to fight. I found the others last night. They don't call themselves survivors. They don't call themselves anything. No ranks. No code names. Just a group of tired people huddled in a cold cave by a dead river, holding on to whatever pieces of themselves they still had. And when I told them my story about the copies, the watchers, the empty town, they didn't ask questions. Because they'd seen it too. One of them, a boy no older than 16, showed me his arm. A scar from a dog bite, fresh, jagged, real. He said the Watchers tried to replace him twice. Each time, his copy couldn't recreate the pain right. It smiled too easily, spoke too calmly. It forgot that survival doesn't make you perfect. It breaks you. Another woman, Evelyn, said she once saw a Watcher glitch out after hearing a mother cry over her missing son. It staggered backward like it had heard something unfamiliar. It wasn't weakness. It was grief. Real grief. Something they still can't copy. We stayed awake until sunrise, sharing memories, the smell of burnt coffee, a brother's laugh, a night in the rain with no umbrella and no regrets. Things that don't show up in files. Things that don't fit in a perfect replacement. I felt human again, but I knew it wouldn't last. At dawn, the sky blinked white, just once. A final signal. And then the last emergency alert came. Not on a phone. Not on a screen. It came in the voice of the forest itself, like the earth was whispering it through the wind. This world is now stable. Replacement nearing completion. Remain calm during the final merge. We heard footsteps in the trees. Not charging. Not attacking. Just arriving. The copies. Hundreds of them. Calm. Expressionless. Each one wearing a face I recognized. People I used to know. People we used to be. They stood across the clearing, watching, waiting, and then they smiled. Every single one. I stepped forward. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I just opened my mouth and said, I remember. One word at a time. I remember pain. I remember loss. I remember who I was. You can't take that. You can't wear that. The Watchers didn't move, but one, wearing my face, tilted its head and whispered, Then you are not useful. Then they turned and walked away, one by one, vanishing into the trees, leaving us behind. The alert stopped after that. No more messages. No more warnings. The world didn't return to normal, but they were done with us. The imperfect, the unpredictable, the ones who remembered what it meant to hurt and keep going. So here I am now, writing this by candlelight. We're rebuilding slowly. There are no mirrors here, no screens, just voices, just stories. We don't talk about what they took. We talk about what they couldn't. My name is mine. My scars are mine. And this pain, it's real. So I know one thing for sure. I am still me, and that's enough.